This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, I'm Dr. Annette Cargioli of EPTworks.com, and I have a training organization that I train people to use emotional polarity technique, which is EPT for short. And this is Karen, and she is a practitioner in Dayton, Ohio. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Annette.
Hi. So I want to start off just with you, Karen, by asking you to kind of tell us a little bit about your own EPT journey in kind of how you went into training and how your life kind of went from there and then became a business. And then I also want you to include what the name of your business is, how people can contact you. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay, I began this journey about 5 years ago, and I had a friend tell me about EPT. And she was already seeing a practitioner here in Dayton, and she said, I think you'd really like it. And I love trying new things. So I said, I think I'll try it. So I go for the first time. I was hooked from the very start. And I'm a special ed teacher by trade. And I was actually in between jobs, and I was trying to decide where my career needed to go. And my EPT practitioner, she had, her and I did sessions over this, and I was able to get a job for teaching. So I was like, okay, that's where I'm supposed to be. So I'm in this teaching job, and this has been 10 years in the making, by the way, of me teaching. And I wasn't loving it. I started liking EPT better because I started noticing all the emotional problems that our children were having, and they needed me more for the emotional standpoint. Somebody else can teach them how to read and write. I needed them to be there for their emotional standpoint. And I saw that more and more every day. I was the teacher that everybody came to see for whatever reason, and if there was a problem, they would call me, not even the principal. So I knew it was time for me to make a change. So slowly, I started practicing EPT, and I did teaching in EPT for a good year. I shared a small office with somebody, and then I was able to do it full time. I finally got the courage to stop teaching altogether and have my full-time office. So this is now my second full year. It'd be my second school year that I finished without teaching, and I haven't looked back. I love EPT so much. I really love working with my families. I see the changes in my children that come in my office, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So I now am working at my own office called Inner Peace Connections. It's in Centerville, Ohio, and my phone number is 937-414-6610. So I was thinking about working on just children because of my background in special education. But I decided I love working with families. So that is my focus point now, is families. So when I get the teenagers in there, I also need to get the moms in there and the dads in there and the families, because everybody is hurting for whatever reason in the family. So I just love this journey that I've been on, and I just love working EPT.
That that is incredible. That is how I feel pretty much every day. I feel that way, and to know that I can share that experience with you and so many other practitioners, it's a feeling I never even realized I could experience and have, and it's amazing.
I had no idea what there.
That's incredible. So, right, because you don't imagine, nobody told us that this could be done when we were growing up. Nobody told us the power of forgiveness. Nobody told us that you could reconnect people in love so quickly, and that there were tools to do that. Nobody told us that. So that's part of what is so, I think, amazing to us, those of us who do this work. So when someone asks you, what is EPT, what do you say?
I tell them EPT is emotional polarity technique, and because our body is a polarity, that's where the polarity comes from. And we're working on the emotional parts. And my favorite is when everybody says, oh, I need that. I'm like, everybody needs it. Who doesn't need to help their emotions? Because like you said, nobody told us how to forgive. So I always tell everybody, EPT is our best way of helping you on how you perceive things. We all perceive things differently. And when we perceive things you know how you can have two children in the same household. One thinks that mom was yelling last night and one didn't see mom was yelling at all. It's how they perceive things. So EPT gives us the challenge, gives us the channel to help us with our perception so that everyone can feel, have the emotional that makes them stronger to know that how they were feeling is okay. It was their journey. It's okay that they thought mom was yelling. That's fine. That's their personality. That's their perception. So EPT just, it allows us to, awareness is our major key with the perception. We finally are able to find our true awareness with EPT, because we finally understand that it's okay that I was the one that thought mom was yelling last night. That's my perception and there's nothing wrong with it. But when I forgive it, it's gone away and then I don't really believe that mom is yelling anymore. When she's just telling us to go to bed or whatever the story is, right? But it's this the changing of the perception, and with children and teenagers, they're my major favorite. And even like young adults, you know, when you have young adults that come in that are going to college and they're trying to figure out who they are. And they're just trying to figure out how do they work without mom and dad and how can they function out on their own in college per se. And they, when they come and see me, they're like, Karen, the awareness is, I can't get over the awareness that I have now. I'm able to function. I'm able to be fine with that. I'm not with mom and dad. I realize that I am strong enough to start my new life and start figuring out where my journey's supposed to be. And it's just the perception and awareness that gets me all giddy every time.
That is amazing. I love the way you said that. It's incredible. So I'm going to ask you now a tough question that a lot of practitioners get, and that is, I say it's tough because, you know, how do you put a price on what you do? What you do when you expand somebody's awareness, it's not going back. And there's like, how do you put a price on that? So I'm just going to ask, every practitioner has what their value is that they place on it so that they can actually go out and do this in business. So what do you charge for EPT?
Well, I charge $150 an hour, and I have a couple of group session prices because we like everyone to come in for at least 7 visits, and then we like to revisit what it would look like for you after 7 visits. I'm not saying everybody's one and done with 7 visits, but I like to definitely talk about it after the 7 visits on what they think they would need. So that package is $875. And then, like I said, I love dealing with families. So I have another package for up to 4 people, but really it's 3, is $1,600.
Okay, well, that sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are great prices. I think those are great. So in your bigger package, it means that 3 people from the family can all use that package.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Since I'm working with families more, they love that package price.
Right. Well, and I mean, I raised 5 kids, so that is the kind of pricing I would have loved to know because I would have wanted everybody to come in and see somebody to do EPT. And to know that you can buy one package and it's like an umbrella for the whole family it's an amazing offering. It's something you don't always find in therapists or any kind of practitioners. So, all right. So now I want to talk about your successes. So you've been doing this and you know you have all these successes rolling around in your mind. So I want you to give me, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 of your favorite EPT sessions that really blew your mind as an EPT practitioner, where you walked away going, did that really happen just now? People don't realize how surprised we are sometimes.
Yes.
They just think that oh yeah, I meant to do that. But so anyway, so I want you to tell me about some of your experiences where it blew your mind and really humbled you.
Probably one of my greatest ones recently is I had a young teenager. She's 17, and she had been cutting herself since she was probably 12. She had cuts up and down her arms, but mainly on one arm. And I could just tell she was just an amazing young woman. So we just start talking, and we do a couple of sessions, but one session, she finally lets me see her cuts. And, you know, she's very self-conscious about it. And we did a session on her giving love to her cuts. Like, it gets me teared up every time. And her cuts have pretty much disappeared. Her mother did not know that we had done that session. And she is now meditating. She has seen me probably 10 times now. We did the 7 and she goes, Karen, I don't think I'm done with you yet. So we'll see each other like once a month. But her cuts are almost gone. They are amazing. They're almost disappeared. And her mother, who actually started coming in, and I told her about the cuts or something, and she goes, I haven't noticed. I said, you have to look. She came back in and she said, I cannot get over that those are almost gone. That is the most amazing thing, because we talked about how she needed to love her journey, and it's okay that she hurt herself. She was just crying out for help, and how she just wanted somebody to know that she was hurting, and she didn't know how else to tell anybody. So she cut herself so people would recognize it. And she's done tons of different therapies. She's even been hospitalized, and she said nothing has ever helped her like EPT has, and that's with just 10 visits. But that single visit on her arm it gets me teared up every time. But it was absolutely amazing.
Well, and it's amazing your description that it was 5 years. She had been cutting for 5 years. That's like a major part of your life.
She even had surgery on a couple because they were so deep, trying to help them.
Whoa.
They're beautiful now, and she shows them love every day. And she started meditating, and she gets so beautiful.
I love it. I love it. So, do you have another one?
I have another one. My grandson, he was 3 years old and not speaking a lot. And with my special ed background, I was getting a little nervous he was going to be a nonverbal because he wasn't really speaking. And this is several years ago. And my friend that I saw in Dayton, she said, why are you not doing EPT on him? I'm like, I don't know why not. Why am I not doing it? So I did. So after one session, I helped him start opening up and speaking. Now he's a delayed speaker. That's okay. And his delayed speech, and he's a little bit behind. It's because I didn't do EPT soon enough. But he flourishes every time we do EPT. He just gets stronger and stronger, and he just finds more confidence, and he's able to hold his own now. He's getting ready to be 4 years old now, and in a few months, and he loves to talk now.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, and in an EPT session, he has to repeat words. So yes, he kind of like has that opportunity to actually, when he does talk, to say words of blessing and words that uplift him.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That is wonderful. Okay. So I've done this with everybody I've talked to because I understand it really well too. Everybody doesn't make you feel great when you're doing EPT with them. And I would say that the majority of life experiences doing EPT are wonderful, and they feel you're in the right place. But there are some that wander in and sit in front of you that you are just frustrated by, and you don't know what to do, and they cause you to question yourself. So do you have any experiences like that where there's somebody that like didn't do as well as you hoped, or didn't respond even though they did do well?
Actually, I have an older gentleman right now that I told him he keeps me on my toes. He totally keeps me on my toes. I love when he's coming in because I know he's going to be cutting up with me. He's like, I don't think this is working. I said, but you keep coming in, so it must be working. But he is 72, 73 years old, and he just wants to feel better before his end of his life. He knows it's not going to be tomorrow, but he just knows that whenever that is here, he wants to feel better about what he's done. And so, yeah, the first time I saw him, he was like, all gruffy, I don't think it's going to work. And I said, that's fine. You don't have to think it's going to work, but I know it's going to, so I'll do it for us.
Oh, I love it.
He comes every week. He loves me. And then I had another lady that her mom was sending her. She was 28 years old. And she sat down. She's like, my mom's making me come. And she's a 28-year-old. She's like, I go, oh, okay, that's great. That was nice of your mom. We're doing that. And she said, I don't see how this is going to work. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong. So we ended up having to do her session. She's 2.5 hours away. So I met her the first time, and then we started doing sessions over the phone, over the Zoom. And the last one, she said, Karen, I absolutely love what you do. I love how you make me feel. And she said, I can't wait till I can purchase my own packages. So she's even signing up and paying for her own packages. She said, I was skeptical at first. I said, I know you were, but I just trust the process, and I just followed the process that you have taught us. And we were able to, after the first session, she felt better, and she knew she did. She was a little bit leery of it because she was wanting to know what voodoo I had to do on her. But after, even over the phone and the sessions over the phones that we'd have, she said, I'm not even in there with you. How are you able to do this to me?
Well, and you know what? I loved how you described both of those because, I want to talk about like how a client can shake you as a practitioner. And one of the most important things that a practitioner can do is hold the space for change that the person in front of them is hoping for.
They're
And
just
sometimes that person can make you go into a place of doubt just like them, instead of realizing, you know what, I'm going to hold this space. I'm going to be here for you. And you are not going to cause me to doubt. And you're not going to push me away and make me not like you. You're
right.
just not going to. So it's
Right.
that I feel like those kind of clients are opportunities for the practitioner to even become, so much more attuned and so much better at what they're able to give to everyone. So
Oh,
yeah,
that older gentleman that comes in every week, I told him, I said, you keep me on my toes, and that's exactly what I need. Thank you. And he loves
that's amazing. Well, and here he is. He's like going, I love that she didn't give up on me.
Yes. Yes. And
They may try to make you do that.
right. And
Yeah.
he said, I don't know. I don't think this is working. And I said, do you come back every week? He said, oh, yes, I love hearing you, and I love being here with you. I said, then it's working.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I've been in the position where I've tried to kick people out because honestly, because I couldn't take it. I'm used to people having these phenomenal experiences. And when that doesn't happen, it's a rare event and I can't handle it always. So over time, I want to just kick them out and say, I'm not the one. And I've had times where I actually said that to somebody. I don't know if I'm the one to help you. And they beg their way back in, which is crazy. It's like, oh, no, don't give up on me. You're helping me. Like all of a sudden it all changes. And then I don't get out of it. I have to still show up and learn what I have to learn. All right. So I want to say with marketing, meaning everything you do from how you talk to clients, selling packages, what you advertise, what is your, even words you say to your clients, what is your best marketing advice?
When I finally talk to a client, I say, try me 7 times. Who else in this world will tell you that I can help you enhance changes in your life in 7 visits? Nobody else on this planet can tell you that. And I said, invest with yourself. You invest in clothes, you invest in your car, you invest in everything but yourself. Invest in yourself and give yourself 7 times and see how you feel afterwards. Because I promise you, you'll feel different and it'll be for the better.
That is so good. I love that. That is, you know what? And it's such conviction on your part. And it is really true. There is no other therapy that makes the kind of changes that EPT makes in 7 sessions,
Mm-hmm.
or even 1 session.
You
But you
I
put it, you multiply it into 7, and you've got a whole new set of challenges in your life that you never even thought you'd have.
Mm-hmm. And I see a lot of teenagers, and a lot of teenagers are trying to get into counselors, And I had one parent call me the other day. She came for my advertisement in a magazine that I have, excuse me, and she said, I can't even get into anybody. They either won't return my phone calls, or they're busy for a month, or she had all these different reasons. And she said, I don't know if that's the right route for my daughter if they can't even make time for her now. So she was appreciative
Wow.
that I called her back, and I have run the books.
Oh, that's incredible. And she'll never look back. She'll be
No.
like, okay, wow, that was definitely a God thing that I couldn't get into this traditional counseling that I don't know how it would never even compare to what this EPT thing is doing.
Mhm.
All right. So, as an EPT practitioner, what did you learn? What have you learned on your own that you wish you had known sooner?
What have I learned on my own?
Like what have you come to realize is true that you wish you would have known at the beginning?
Oh, that I knew what I was doing. I wish I wouldn't second guessed myself, because when I was first in my office all by myself, and when I'm like, okay, I gave up a teaching job, getting a full paycheck, right? I remember sitting on my first day in my office going, now what do I do? But and then when people would come in, I'm second guessing myself. And when I finally stopped second guessing myself and knowing what I came up with and what muscle test told me or things, I just quit. I don't even second guess myself at all anymore. I just know I have it, and I know my answer is there. And um, I just know, even if I don't have an answer, I can go around it and figure it out. And the people will
It comes to you.
they'll call me later, go, Karen, that's what it was. I called my mom, blah, blah, blah. I say, great, we opened it up for you. But I wish I wouldn't have second guessed myself.
Right. And that would be, I think that's a true statement for anybody who's even just taken the training. That
Yes.
if you could have known that from the beginning, it would have like really made it more enjoyable, and you just would have been more excited about all of it if you had known. Just follow the process, trust it, get what you get, and know that is where I should have been.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Trusting the process is,
That
yeah. And I remember Sherry, she was my teacher, and Chanel, and they would tell me, oh, it's okay. Wherever you get, it's fine. Wherever you are, trust the process. I was like, oh, but my process, what if I screw something up or I hurt you know what I mean? I go through all these scenarios. But if I would have just started with knowing that I had it, because I always had it the whole time. I just wish I knew that from the beginning.
right, right. Well, and so many people, because they come in and they tell you a story, and then you go to do EPT and it goes on a wild path that doesn't sound like it goes with this story at all.
Right.
And so people are I want to say they're very tempted to make up what something for the person that somehow has meaning for the person based on what they just told you, instead of trusting what the body is saying needs to be healed.
I've helped
And it
trauma
is,
without knowing what the trauma was. I've
yep,
helped heal trauma without even knowing what the trauma remotely was. We have no idea.
right. But the person's whole body and all their anxiety just rested because you dissolved and released it.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Wow. That is so good. All right. So, in closing, do you have any words of inspiration to new practitioners?
Don't second guess yourself. um,
That's good.
it feels a lot at first, but I promise you should not second guess yourself, because if you weren't, you have it already, or you wouldn't already be, or you wouldn't be taking the classes. So just know that you have it and just go from there, because you will go faster than I did.
You'll go faster than I did.
Yeah, I waited a year and a half with school, and I wish I'd have started 2 years ago sooner. I wish
Wow.
I'd have quit teaching years ago. And I didn't go back to school for teaching until I only taught for 10 years, and I'm 49. So I didn't start teaching until later in life anyway. But I always told my husband all my education kept going to something I couldn't figure out what it was, and I figured out now it's for EPT. That's what my whole
Yes,
been through my whole entire life is EPT.
that's amazing. I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for all the people you help. You're an inspiration to me and to others, and I love you so much, Karen. You have
I love
no
you too.
idea.
I love you too. I'm
All right.
grateful for you.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for doing this interview.